What's good, guys? I'm here with my boy Mina, and we're gonna run through this Infernoid deck list for the new format, January 2020, new year, new deck.
New year, new us. Let's go.
That's exactly what this is. All right, so start it off. 3 Decatron.
This is definitely the best one. It just dumps an Infernoid, gains its effect and level, mass
Yep.
synergy with Imagination, mass synergy with Feast. Best card in the deck.
2 Deviati.
Monster Negate, Heavy Storm on Summon. Definitely one of the better of the big ones.
Unsummon it.
On Summon, it's Heavy Storm for every spell card that's not a Void Spell or Trap card. So it leaves up Banishment and stuff like that.
Okay, and then 2 Infernoid Nunku.
Yeah, this card's a Dark Hole on Summon, and it negates spell and trap activations and effects. So you can negate the spell traps in Grave.
So is this standard to play 2/2 of the big ones? Because I've seen all different sorts of things, 1/1 and stuff.
No, you 100% can't play 1/1 after Void Feast came out, because you definitely want to result, because you're almost always gonna send 1/1 off Void Feast for your Decatrons, and also you want to have 2/2 for Void Imagination just to have it live from deck.
Yep. Okay, and then 2 Cytissimus.
This card banishes at the end of the battle phase, non-targeting, and it's also a DD Crow. So this card is just spot removal if you can keep it alive.
Is 2 standard for this? I'm like really off with these. Like I don't know what the ratios are, so you're gonna have to explain these.
Yeah, you 100% need 2 Cytissimus, because it's not as good. It's not better than, it's not worse than a Tondo, but it's definitely like a two of just like the big ones, because you just need more push power. You can't let these get banished.
And then 1 Atundal.
Yeah, this card's average.
Double attacker, I believe.
It attacks twice, but it has to send that card to grave, so it doesn't work against pendulums and under like banishing effects like that.
Yeah.
But it's still DD Crow, and it still goes hell with the OTK, so you're definitely chilling with it.
And then the last one is Sajedi, the engine requirement. I believe you guys only play this because of Void Feast.
Yeah, this card's terrible, but you need to play it.
What does it do exactly?
When it attacks, you can activate the effect, and the effect is your opponent picks a card from their extra deck and just banishes it. Okay. But also like the other mid-level ones, also DD Crow. So
okay, so a few things to note. The count is you have none of the small Infernoid monsters. Is that standard?
Yeah, we want to go first with this list, and it's just super bricky with the small ones. You don't
need
those.
Harmadig and Petrulia. 1 pops a monster, 1 pops spell or trap. You just don't think those are good?
They're just not good enough to play, like, draw in your opening hand.
Okay. Are drawing the monsters good? I feel like they are not, except Decatron, right? These are essentially kind of bricks.
Decatron is the best one to draw, obviously, so normal summon is the dumper. The big ones are really like bad to draw, but they're just good enough. And Cytissimus is good to draw, like, but just in a single and like an ideal hand.
Okay. And one last thing I want to note: no hand traps, no impermanence, no nothing. Are you afraid of other combo decks, or do you think your deck is good enough to break some of those fields?
This deck should break any deck that's not Spiral. This deck will just like rip apart. And then if you're playing in Spiral, you ideally have to just like poke at their board and then activate Mystic Mind at the end.
Okay, yeah, we can get into that right now. 1 terraforming, 1 demise of the land. What does Demise of the Land do? It's just when something's special summoned?
Yeah, when a monster specials your opponent's side of the field, this card can just set a spell or trap.
So essentially another terraforming, another way to get to the win condition Mystic Mind.
Yeah, but you can do this on their turn, so it's not only can it not be responded to, but what's it called? Not only can it not be responded to, but this card can also just put them under Mystic Mind immediately. Like they don't even.
So this is like one of the win conditions.
Yeah, you just take them out. Like any deck that's not Spiral just gets ripped apart. And Spiral, you can.
If you can somehow stick this card against the Spiral field, you just automatically win.
100%. You should definitely.
There's no outs in the main deck.
Yeah.
And then there's 2 other field spells you're playing. Lair of Darkness.
This card's just good with the Infernoid deck. It synergizes. If you have
tributes its cost, you can tribute the opponent's monsters.
If you resolve Feast and you demise of the land this is also a very crazy play. Because then they also just can't respond to that, and you can just tribute their monsters. And
then expansion. This is different. Is this standard?
This card is not standard, but this card should be played in this list just because you can get it so easily, and it can be cost or Void Feast.
Can you explain to me what it exactly does?
Every standby phase it summons a level 1 Fiend token, so it synergizes with a Link Creepo, but that token can also be banished for the summon of an Infernoid card.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's good in the it's good in the grind game, but you could always just discard it for Feast and have guaranteed
Okay.
Feast
So
cost.
feel all these field spells, and then after that, 3 duality, 3 extravagance. Your consistency cards. Any thoughts on these? Do you have to play them, all of them, all 6?
You definitely have to play Extravagance, and you can't play other draw cards because of Extravagance's clause, but you can play Duality because it still adds. And also, this card helps you get into all these other power play cards like Trap Trick, Void Feast, Banishment.
Yeah, so I think one of the weakest things about this deck is the fact that sometimes it just breaks. It feels a little bricky sometimes, and all 6 of these cards are supposed to help you come out of this early game that your deck kind of struggles
100%.
with. If it comes out of the early game, the cards in this deck are so crazy. Let's just get into the next three spots because these are what is crazy. Imagination and Vanishment, both of these.
Yeah. This is Shaddoll Fusion on crack. You can send 6 cards from your deck to the grave. Tiara has a crazy effect that you can just get just with this card. You can also send from hand. This card's also not once per turn. So, for example, if you send Tiara and you send Entis and you pop 3 things, you could just pop your own Tiara and just leave up one of their special summon monsters. If you have another Void Imagination, you can send 6 again from your deck.
You can ash this, right?
You can ash this only if only if you control a special summon
Only when
monster.
it's going to graveyard when you're sending
Yeah.
it. Okay.
It activates on field and it activates to...
Yeah, one of the
use.
bombs. One of the reasons why this deck can go second the way it does.
Yeah, the crazy
Yeah.
dumpers.
And then Vanishment, discard one to add any of the void spell and traps.
Yeah, and it also has a second effect, the hidden effect, where if you have an Infernoid monster and it battles, you can send this card from field to grave and banish the Infernoid monster and the card is battling. So this is also like a good spot
Yeah,
if
exactly.
you're in a pinch.
Interesting thing to note, this deck is set to go first because I believe it's set to go first because of
Yeah.
the traps. Okay, so would you play less Imagination or do you think the 3 Imagination is still mandatory?
I mean, you just want to max out on things that could be cost for feast, and Imagination, like
Very true.
If you happen to lose the die roll, which you will half the time, then you could just...
It's a
like,
way to win the game.
This card's like a bomb. when
If
you
this
drop it.
resolves, I'm pretty sure you're winning the game.
You should win the game when the
Yeah.
show drops.
Okay, and then 10 trap cards. Let's get into the first one. 3 Compulse. Well, why?
Compulse lets you modulate the amount of monsters on board
For the Mystic Mind.
For the Mystic Mind, and
Yeah.
it also helps you out things that you just don't want to use your Inferno monsters on. But also there's a big synergy with this card and Trap Trick because Trap Trick can just set it. And if you a lot of monsters like mid combo monsters like Helix and stuff like that aren't on summon effects, so you can compulse a Helix, for example.
Yeah, a bunch of trigger effects going around.
Yeah.
Double Helix, big
Yeah.
one.
So if you compulse
Makes
Helix, they
sense.
just strictly
That's a
neck
good
2.
card right now.
Yeah.
And then 1 Metaverse with the field spells. You're playing
Yeah.
so many. You're trying to get into Mystic Mind. Get an
Yeah.
easy win like that, so why not?
You can't respond.
3 Trap Trick and for the 3 Void Feast and the 3 Compulse.
Yeah, and 3 Void Feast. It summons three Infernoids at total level 8. So you could summon 2 negates basically and a Jet, which is why you get to play that. Or you can summon just 1 Decatron and a Sitesimus. Or you can summon just a Tandil for like extra damage,
Yeah.
or just to get a monster on field, for example, Lair of Darkness or some DD Crow or anything like that.
And then you could do the cute thing where if you have 2.
Yeah, there's also a
Yeah,
cool
that's
interaction.
crazy.
If you have 2 Void Feasts and they're both set, you can flip 1, send a cost for it, and if your opponent has no response, or even if they do have a response, you flip the second Void Feast and send the other one that's face up on the field.
It's
still
so
for
wild when
cost.
they do that. 5 monsters just
5
flood
monsters.
the field. 5
Yeah.
Infernoids. I'm
If
like,
you-
what the
if
fuck
that
is
resolves,
this?
you just summon 3 Decatron, a Sitesimus, and a Sedja, and you just have 2 DD Crows and 3 negates.
Yeah. Let's go into the extra deck then. 3 Entis. I think this is because Extravagance, and this card's really good. You have a chance to pop 3 cards.
Yeah, this card can just pop 3 cards with with the new release of Gravity Controller, another card we play. Then you don't have to pop your own Tiara because now you can just pop 3 cards on your opponent's side of the field. Definitely has to
And
play
then
3.
3 Tiara, yep,
Yeah.
standard. Okay, so the next card, Equimax. I don't know if a lot of people know about this, but this deck can just kill you
Yeah, this
because
deck,
of this card.
yeah, this deck has a crazy synergy with this card. This card's effect is it gains the attack of all the monsters it points to, and then the downside of that is that those monsters can't attack. But you can just summon this card and then summon 2 Infernoids under it, like 2 mid-level Infernoids, and attack for like 7,000 damage.
And you could just tribute the Infernoids as cost, and then
No, you tribute the Equimax's cost.
and then it could, and the
Yeah,
Infernoids can keep attacking.
yeah,
Yeah, that's crazy.
100%.
Oh my god. And then the Chimera.
Yeah, this card just busts one.
It's always been in this deck.
The mid-tier OCK. This card can add back Decatron if it stays on the field.
The next card is cool. Just came out from Ignition Assault. What do
Yeah.
you think?
This card is crazy. Such a big buff to this deck. Tiaras, you don't have to pop it anymore. You can just make it into this.
I remember there would be times in the past where the Tiara would just get stuck
Yeah,
there.
and you'd just be stuck with levels.
And then you'd be restricted.
Yeah, this card.
But now, never again.
This card's effect is its Grand Mold for the extra monster zone, and it also is just has a protection effect against monsters that aren't in the extra monster zone. So it's just super like good, and you can make it into Equimax if it survives for the next turn, or you can just make it into a Phoenix because this card is actually pretty hard to get over after you summon Infernoids.
And then Hida, all of your monsters are flyers, so there's a chance that you can pick something out of the opponent's extra deck.
Yeah,
and then make
the Equimax with
Equimax, yeah. Good. Cerberus, Phoenix. Do you miss Unicorn?
No, I think his deck can has good enough spot removal that you don't need to have.
Very
Unicorn.
true. All these monsters have such high utility. Dark Hole, Heavy Storm, whatever you want, non-target banish. So yeah, I definitely do understand that. And then Link Karibo, what's this for? Just the Decatron?
You can also use it with the token you get for Void Expansion.
Okay, interesting. And then we, which is Apprentice, I think it's only here because of the Lair of Darkness, making everything dark. Lair of Darkness does make everything dark, so yeah, it's there. And then the last thing we want to talk about, the side deck. But before we go into the side deck is always changing. I want to talk about what you think is the best deck right now, because we'll be making our side deck towards that.
The best deck's definitely Spiral, and you definitely
it's Spiral, and then a bunch of decks that counter Spiral, right?
Yeah, and then this deck just destroys all those other decks that are trying to counter Spiral, and so all you gotta do is just cater towards Spiral matchup.
And then right off the bat, one Scythe and the 3 Sanctum.
This card has crazy synergy with
the trap trick. Yeah.
You also can get it off Extravagance. You can get it off Duality. You should see this in your opening hand somehow.
Yeah. And it shuts down any deck that's playing an extra deck just like Spiral. You're shutting it down.
And if it comes back to you, you just go for the OTK.
Yeah. And then 3 Droll and Lockbird, the best hand trap of the current format.
100%. This card almost always stops.
There's no way to play around this.
Yeah,
there's zero way.
Besides
for Spiral to play around is very unlikely.
Besides Call the Grave, this card has no response, and you unless your hand is crazy, you'll just pass after this.
3 Nibiru. It's a little questionable still. I'm not sold on Nibiru yet. Are you?
Nibiru is just good enough for this deck to just it usually never stops by itself. Stops your opponent, but
the Spiral deck.
Yeah.
Oh, there's other decks that Nibiru crushes, but we're mainly talking about Spirals, and Spiral can play out of the Nibiru. That's my issue with it.
You just hinder the board enough that the rest of the board they make and
just
rip apart, and then you.
I think it's because of how the type of deck Infernoid is, though, because how strong these spells are. If you can just make it so their board is maybe just Appaloosa Sleeper or just Sleeper, something there, then you can definitely break apart the board just because of how crazy the Infernoid cards really are.
Yeah,
I understand why.
It's one of the more effective hand traps. You don't want to go for the neg ones in a deck like this, so this is good enough.
Yeah, and then 2 Twin Twister.
Just for the back row.
And then the 3 evenly matched back row decks.
Yeah.
They're always going to be there, always going to play it. You never know.
Evenly is really good. Trap Trick can set it. Or you could draw it off Duality, off Extravagance.
Is there anything else in the side that you've considered? Like Lightning Storm, maybe?
I would play Lightning Storm when I get it over Twin Twister, but I would definitely keep evenly matched over that.
Okay. Interesting. So that's the deck right there. I want to ask you specifically, how do you think this fares in the current meta with Spirals running around?
I think this deck, if you want to play one of the decks that are trying to counter Spiral, this deck will just destroy it. Like Salamangreats, the Sky Striker Remnants.
Yeah, I think so. This deck is, the way everything else got destroyed, I just think this deck is in a very strong position. The cost to play this deck is a little high, but I think it's fine. If you guys want to play a rogue deck, I think this is one of the rogue decks that can definitely keep up with Spiral.
Yeah, by far. One of the more reliable ways.
For sure. Guys, let us know if you guys have any thoughts, anything else that we missed. Is there other cool text for this deck? Mina, any last thoughts on this? This is his spice.
Honestly, you don't see his deck a lot of locals, but whatever you do, it's always
it's scary.
Spicy.
It's scary when you see this, 100%. Guys, subscribe, let us know. Scary deck.
Scary deck. Peace out.
Peace.